Hey, welcome. I just wanted to, my name is Jeff Harrison, and I just wanted to ask you a question. Actually, more of a statement is I learned something a long time ago. It says, when there's a wave coming, you can either learn to ride it or be crushed by it. And as I talk about a wave, we have seen since about November of 2022 this wave of artificial intelligence and AI, and we know it is like Chat GPT. And I talk to people on a frequent basis. And some are like, I don't want anything to do with it. And others are like, I just want to learn how to use it. How can I use it? And at Swing Point Media, we've decided to say, hey, we're all in. We want to be expert surfers on riding this wave. We want to capitalize on it, but not in a negative way. We want to understand how it's working, so that then we can come back to you as potential customers, or even anybody who needs that help, and say, hey, this is how we would leverage it. Well, yesterday I jumped on a live call very briefly, and said, hey, there were some things that I was thinking about that you should do, and you can research and see where that video is. Today I want to kind of push the envelope just a little bit more, and I want to talk about customer service. And this is something I've been monitoring for a while, because some of our clients are they have a lot of incoming phone calls, and then there are some clients who say, I wish I had somebody who could make all my phone calls. Well, artificial intelligence has now reached that plateau, or that ceiling of saying, it's kind of hard to tell when a synthesized voice is making the phone call or receiving the phone call versus a human. The difference is, and I'm going to show you here in a second, is some of these platforms can take, 1,000, they can make 1,000 phone calls an hour, and some can take incoming an unlimited number of phone calls. Well, now think about that for a business who has a high amount of traffic. Like I'm thinking, some of our customers in the HVAC industry, they'll have, I remember one told me, they said at the end of the day, even though they have, I think they had 5 or 6 people working, answering the phone calls, and they're adding more people. At the end of the day, they still had over 300 calls they had to catch up on. And that's just devastating. Well, here's a fact that blew me away. And I shared this with my business group a few weeks ago. I said, customer service is one of the reasons people don't do business with you, and poor customer service. And poor customer service can fall into how you answer your phone call, or that you don't answer your phone call, or you don't get back to someone. And it can impact as much as 50% of your total yearly revenue. So anyway, like I said, I've been monitoring something. I'm going to share it on the screen here. And these are synthesized voices that can be trained. They're artificial intelligence. They can be trained to take incoming phone calls for your business. They can be trained to do outbound phone calls for your business. So think about that. And I think they're very reasonably priced, and they're really not hard to set up. Let me pull this up. This first one is called Good Call. And you can go in there and start a free demo. But the cool thing about it is, you can do it for any kind of business. As it says, extract value from every call. Because here's the thing. It can be trained to do several things. Now, we have chatbots on our website, and we do this for clients, and it is trained, we call it tuning. We train it to learn everything that's on that website, and we can give it additional content to learn. And then as we put new content on there, we do what we call tuning it. We tune it up. So it's constantly in the know. And so when it's having a conversation with somebody, and it really is a really nice interactive conversation, what happens is, it's answering that person's questions in a conversational tone, friendly, helpful. We can say for it to do that, but then we can also say, hey, what do we want to do at the end? We can have it become or have it set an appointment, or have somebody call back. And so we can actually set the call to action at the end. So imagine every time it did an outbound call or an inbound call, it asked, hey, would you like to click here to set an appointment, or click here to set an appointment, or click here to speak to one of our representatives to set an appointment? And it does that 100% of the time. Now, not only that, but every call is recorded. So you can go back and you can see how every one of these calls went. So it's gathering the content of the information, or excuse me, of the potential customer. So 100% of your phone calls are captured and all the information is captured. That's something that's pretty cool. Now, I just want to point out a couple things here. Like this third thing down here, beauty salons. My wife is a hairstylist, and she's a one person. She has her own salon, but she's a one person operator. Like her hands are in people's heads, cutting their hair and coloring and things of that nature. Well, if she had this and it automatically answered the phone calls, and it answered it as her or with her tonality, her knowledge of her business, and access to her calendar, it could process it just like a regular human being would. Think about that for a second. That's huge. So she would never miss a call, and her customers would be taken care of. And today it's all about customer service. It would have very high customer service, and all of that would be recorded. So she'd go back and check on that and see how it went. So if she saw something like, hey, I need to call these people back, she's got the information, but she also has all the context of the call. So she's not calling going, hey, let me catch up on this. No, she already knows what's going on. The other one is professional services. Like, we have HVAC companies, we have doctors that we service and take care of. And I've been hesitant to put these out there because I've been watching this because, like, is the time right? I don't want to put something out there that is a bad, it's kind of half baked, if you will. We've all had one of those where we pull the cookie out and we eat it, and it's like it looks good. The chocolate chips are melted, but when you taste it, it's raw in the middle. And it kind of takes the fun out of chocolate chip cookies. Well, this is the same thing that I've been doing. I've been watching this very closely for probably about 8 or 9 months, and I've seen a couple things happen. The quality keeps going up, and the cost of use keeps going down. So that's pretty cool. So this is one. It's called Good Call, and I just want to show you some pricing information. $59 a month per location. Now watch this. Unlimited minutes. In other words, it's inbound and outbound calls. It doesn't matter how many. It's going to be unlimited minutes. Call recordings, local phone. You get a local phone number if you don't use your own local number. So that's kind of nice. Multi-user. So if you had multiple people, like as an example, let's say my wife has 2 or 3 other people in the salon. Yeah, you could use that for those people. Unlimited skills. In other words, it could be used for a hair salon. It could be used for a landscaping equipment. It could be used for a pool service. It doesn't matter. Electrician, you name it. It'll send texts. It'll route calls by name. So if somebody says, yeah, I do want to talk to somebody, I would like to talk to Carmen, my wife, it'll route it to her phone and it'll ring through there. We talked about call reporting, message talking, contact forms. Yep, you can put information about contact forms, and it synchronizes hours from Google or Yelp. So in other words, it's not, if you have it doing outbound calling or inbound calling, it's in your area, and it timestamps that, knowing that those calls came in based on Google and or Yelp at that specific time. So you know the information. So just think about it. So this is one of those $59 a month. That's pretty impressive. Another one, and this one kind of got me started. Let me see if this is it. Here it is. This is one that I originally started looking at. It's called Air.ai. And I'm going to say they were kind of the pioneer at this, and the one that I was really impressed with. And you can go to this. It's Air.ai, and you'll come here and you can click the demo and you'll listen to it. And I think I want to challenge you. Like, would you really know that this is a computerized or a generated voice versus a person on there? Because if you listen to it, you'll hear pauses like, hey, I'm thinking about what I would respond with. And I think this is one of those things where you say, hey, could I not afford, if I can't afford to hire somebody full time to answer my phones, what about this as an option? And again, to set these up or it's just gotten so much easier. I'll give you an example. With our chatbots that we put on our website, we basically put the URL or specific pages or PDFs or even videos that we wanted to learn about the business or about what we wanted to talk about or have that knowledge base. And it doesn't even have to be ours. It could be somebody, in our industry who's a thought leader and they really have a lot of good things. Well, you might go out there and pull in 2 or 3 videos, put those URLs in there. And what this chatbot will do, it will learn all about that. So now if somebody asks a question around that and it's in that knowledge base, it will answer that question. So this is like an FAQ on your website, only it's on steroids and it's really working hard. And then at the end of that, it's like, hey, if there's not any more questions I can answer, can we go ahead and schedule for an appointment to do X, Y, and Z? Well, that will be very powerful. So I'm looking forward to rolling this out to my clients. And I just wanted to share this with you because, again, we have a choice. We can learn to ride the wave and we can capitalize on it, or we can, hey, you know what? I'm just going to put my head down and I'm going to cover my head, and this wave is going to crush me. It's just going to do that. And I don't say that I don't mean to say that in a negative way. I say it in a way that I want you to be aware of, like, hey, you have a choice. We all have a choice. Do we want to adopt this and adapt, or do we want to just say, you know what, let this pass me by and I'll just suffer with what I've got going on? Because here's the thing. If, as it says, 100,000 sales and customers reps at the tap of a button. So if I had this machine and I said, hey, I'm going to load up all the businesses in my area that would be benefit from buying my services, and I construct a script or a conversation I want to have with it with the customer, and I say, here are the numbers, go to work. It never takes a break. And again, it's recording all those calls, and you're competing with me, and you're doing it one at a time, or you're going to some business meetings and whatnot. Well, you don't stand a chance. It's like, you know, that idea of like, you're running a race and I'm on a horse and you're in a Ferrari. I got no chance. So I just wanted to put this out there today of like, this is just another piece of how AI is changing the landscape. You know, yesterday I heard Julia McCoy, and she is the president of a product called Content at Scale. We use that to create a lot of our written content. It's amazing. But anyway, she said by 2030, over 800 million jobs will be replaced by AI. And I look at that and say, okay, when I first heard that, it's like, whoa, that's kind of scary. But then as I started thinking about that, I want to learn how to use this. And so we do it every day. We were one of the early adopters in prompting and prompt engineering and teaching it what to do. You know, if we put something that it was crappy outcome, we said, okay, well, it was really based on how our question was constructed. So we created better prompts. This is the same thing, guys and gals. So anyway, if you want more information about that, my information, I'll put it in my description, but please reach out to me. My name is Jeff Harrison with Swing Point Media. We are a small business agency here in the Coachella Valley here in Southern California. If you're not familiar with that, that's around the Palm Springs area. And we tend to service or help service-based businesses like HVAC companies, electricians, plumbers, that type of thing. So if you have a question, please reach out. Thanks again. Have a great day.